Hello everyone, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to one and all joining us live today over the Zoom platform as well as on our OCI FB page. Today's webinar is the third in the lecture series of the OCI-Essilor Knowledge Plus series. Advancements in science and technology has taken spectacle dispensing to great heights, and with the recent pandemic, optical industry looked up to approaches towards contact lens dispensing. And to touch upon this very interesting topic, we have with us Dr. Pancham Kulkarni, who is going to speak on contactless dispensing. Let me introduce you all to Dr. Pancham, who is a practicing optometrist for the past 19 years in Mumbai, India. He completed his master's in optometry from the University of New South Wales, Australia, and has recently completed his doctorate in myopia control. He has vast experience in optical retail dealing with various types of spectacle frame and lens materials of different brands. He is also an assistant professor at Lotus College of Optometry, Mumbai, with teaching expertise in dispensing optics as well as contact lenses. Joining him today as panelists for the session, we have Ms. Anantalakshmi, who is the Head of Education and Professional Services with Essilor Luxottica, and Mr. Kulbhushan Singh, who is the Product Manager for Essilor Instruments. A warm welcome once again to one and all, and over to you, Dr. Pancham.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Anita. Thank you for the good introduction that you gave. And I think, should we go ahead with the presentation?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Should I think we'll maximize it a bit more. Okay. So, like Anita ma'am has already said, the topic for the day is contactless dispensing. And no, this is just not another presentation. Will we talk about sanitizing techniques for your optometry practice and how to maintain your social distancing with your patients. But mostly we'll be talking about the innovation that has taken place in the field of optometry, like the newer techniques and newer instruments that have come in this practice, and how machines are basically helping the optoms in effectively in conducting your day-to-day work. So we'll be mostly focusing on that. Firstly, how has the retail customer behavior changed post-COVID? Now, this was an elaborate study done by McKinsey and Associates. This is a 2021 study on consumer behavior. So we all know that there was an increased shift to online purchasing, and 92% of the customers who tried online shopping during the pandemic have enjoyed the experience, and 75% of the shoppers who have shifted to a different brand and store due to convenience and value. So we all know, during the pandemic, the public transport was shut. So the shoppers tried to see stores that are near their homes. So they shifted to those stores. And something to worry about over here is those who tried the new brand of the store, 79% of them intend to continue in the same store. So this was like, this threw up a new challenge to us. We thought we had a loyal set of customers, but looking at these these figures, is something to worry about. Somehow I feel these figures will not be so high for an optical setup, because in an optical setup you need a special training, you need special expertise in dispensing a progressive lens or some customized lens. So somehow these values will be a bit lesser for an optical setup, but still a bit worrisome, I'll say. And this was a study done by all the senior optoms of India. What are the sanitization protocols for optometry? You know all this. Just few points I'll touch up on this. Like there should be lesser touch points and declutter your store, disinfect trial frames and lenses after every patient visit, sanitize the frames on every trial, use mask and shield for taking IPD. All this we all know. We have been discussing this in the past. So although this is quite necessary, it was quite a hassle. But it is necessary, because if you see the Deloitte study over here, which was a recent study in 2022, 62% shoppers still prefer the sanitized stores for a safer shopping experience. So even though you are thinking, COVID has gone away, shoppers are not thinking that way. They still feel, a sanitization is a protocol is a must for every store. And I remember even my sales staff, complaining, sir, this is a bit of hassle. Patients are trying different types of frames. It becomes very difficult to, keep on sanitize them. So can we get best of both worlds? Can we have something like, lesser touch points also, and can we have a satisfied customer also? Let's see further into the presentation if you can have, if you can work a way around this. Another point that regularly comes up, is there a need for contactless innovation for my store? Now, recently I had been to the masterclass conference in Pune, and I had an opportunity to, to speak with the fellow optoms and optical shop owners, and ask them, do you think innovation is needed for your store? And the most common answers I got were, business is down post COVID, there are no funds, COVID is gone, why automation is now needed? I trust my retinoscope, auto ref, I have better things to do. There's no time for all this. Will all this expenditure give me better returns? That was a very valid point. I thought, yeah, because these gadgets don't come cheap. All these instruments are expensive, and if I'm going to invest these instruments, are they going to give me return on investment? Very valid point. I felt. My shop is 50 plus years old. I don't need all this showbiz. And this last point was shared by me only. Let's observe other stores before I invest into it. So these were the common answers when I asked, do you want to innovate your store? But what history is telling us, the history has clearly shown what has happened. Giants like Nokia, BlackBerry, Kodak, they have not innovated, they have not moved with times. They thought they had the best gadgets during their days, and now they have just disappeared from the market. Once Nokia was ruling the cell phone market, you all must know it, but now it's nowhere to be seen. While companies like Tata Motors with the electric cars, your Geo, Geo was nothing 5 years back. Now look at it, it's a market leader now. You all know the Apple story also, how it has happened. So, history is continuously telling us, if you want to do business, you need to innovate your business. Okay. In the future, if you want to maintain your stronghold in the market, in some sort of innovation is necessary. So let's move on to the topic now, contactless dispensing. And these are the various, there's a flow of dispensing. When your patient comes to your store, there is a eye refraction, frame selection, your lens selection, you do your frame IPD measurements, lens edging is there, and the final frame adjustments before you hand over the frame to your patient. So at every junction, there is some sort of contact happening over here. So let's see if we can have a bit of innovation over here to minimize those contact points and make it a safer shopping experience for your clients. These are the current techniques. What we all do, I think most of us follow the cylindrum. Nowadays, we have those LCD charts, your trial frame and your auto refs. That is the standard procedure followed in the most of the Indian optical setup. I've not seen many stores use this the manual phoropters, but a lot of the chain stores have shifted to the automated phoropters, wireless phoropters, you can say, where there's a more of physical contact with your clients. These phoropters also add to the advantages, like you have a quicker refraction. There's, like I said, there's always a lesser contact with your customer. It's comfortable to customer also due to the less weight, because with the trial frame you keep on mounting lenses. Maybe if there is a prism also involved in this, so the weight increases, becomes uncomfortable for the patient also. There are no lens smudges. You have a easy JCC and prismatic techniques can be done very easily with the phoropter. Another benefit it gives you, it connects with the automated lensometer and chart. So as soon as your client comes in, you take out his PGP via the lensometer. All this is wirelessly synchronized, and the values of your lensometer get uploaded immediately into the phoropter. For that saves time and convenience also. And overall, it creates a very good customer impression. Oh, he thinks, oh yeah, this store has got the latest gadget, instruments. It is innovative, and they're going to have good word of mouth publicity. Another problem I have faced is, do branded phoropters justify their cost? Now, 7-8 years back, I visited a trade exhibition and I was confused myself. I was wondering, should I buy a branded phoropter or should I buy these locally imported phoropters, which are half the cost of the branded phoropters? And I finally took a decision to go for the locally imported phoropters, the generic ones. I thought I made a sort of a mistake doing that, because what problems I encountered there was that the generic phoropters, although they are cheap, they are not compatible with most of the lensometers and auto refs. Okay, so that synchronization benefits are not there. So a lot of optical store owners I've seen, they try to invest heavily into the on auto ref. They want a branded auto ref because they think that's their bread and butter. But when it comes to a phoropter, they think, oh, should I invest in such an expensive phoropter? So basically they end up buying a generic one and there is no synchronization benefit, okay, over there. That is the first point. Second was a breaker point for me. No vertex distance adjustment for higher powers in generic phoropters. Now this I found out, because my refraction started going wrong. I was overcorrecting my patients, like a -5 diopter patient. I used to prescribe a 5.5 or sometimes a 6. The prescriptions were going wrong in high powers because those phoropters were like really thick, and that vertex distance adjustment was not there, and that is why the prescriptions were like the lenses were getting stacked on one top of one another, and my my the final diffraction was going wrong. So that was a very heartbreaking point over there. The vertex distance adjustment was not seen. Another point to look into is unable to tilt the generic phoropters during near refraction. Now all of us have that habit of looking down while reading. So that facility was not there in the generic phoropters. I don't know about the latest generic phoropters if they have that facility, but the older ones didn't provide you with that. So that natural posture was not there during near refraction. Another problem, do not get updates or good technical support. So sometimes if your motor or some part goes, it doesn't work. So there is no guarantee that you'll get that part in from the local distributor. So I think just save money and invest, go for a branded phoropter. Although the prices are high, it is, I think it's worth the cost. We also have these all-in-one refraction solutions where a single machine calculates your measures your topography, your wavefront aberrometry. This is the Essilor instrument over here. The auto refractometer wavefront analyzer, the Essilor wavefront analyzer, which has all these features into it, like a tonometer, pachymeter, pupillometer. So basically, if you use this all-in-one solutions, you're reducing the touch points also. You don't have the hassle of shifting the patient from one chair to another chair. You don't have that hassle of sanitizing each and every instrument. He sits on one chair. All these values are captured, and all these values can be via the internet can be emailed to the head optometrist or the ophthalmologist, wherever who wants to view the reports of the patient. So all in one, a good instrument to invest into. Now, there is something known as the contactless refraction techniques. We already know about the phoropter and your trial frame and the auto ref. There are newer techniques have come out, something known as the algorithm refraction setup. Now, this is done by a company known as Visionix. So the key instruments here are basically your you have a lensometer, you have a Snellen chart over here, then iPad is there over here, and this is the auto ref on top of which is mounted your phoropter. So the phoropter and auto ref are basically a one instrument, and this instrument does everything. All these instruments are connected wirelessly via Wi-Fi. So once the patient walks in, you just take out his PGP with the lensometer. These values get uploaded directly into this phoropter over here. You just click a button, the objective refraction starts. It's binocular again. Individually, both eyes, the refraction is calculated simultaneously. Not that you are going to shift from one eye to another eye. So it's much quicker. It also calculates visual acuity without you asking any questions to your patient. It automatically calculates the visual acuity also. So basically, how it does all this, we don't know because it's a patented technology of the company, and I'm very sure they'll not share with anyone. But it's objectively doing your refraction, it is objectively taking out your visual acuity, and finally giving you the subjective values also. So no need of this subjective refraction hassles also. If you want to refine it further, they'll give you an option one, option two. So you can tell your patient, sir, option one is better or option two is better, and based on that, you can further refine these values also. But the major hassles, is this option good, that option good, which addition is good, all that hassles have been gone. Very useful for kids, I'll say, or for your elderly patients who don't understand the difference between two or three options. So very useful. Even for your near vision calculation, you have that integrated near visual acuity chart. So the same process again happens. The near visual acuity is first calculated, and the near refraction, the addition directly comes on, is given to you by the instrument without you asking any questions. And this is the final printout that comes out. You have your distance refraction, near refraction, addition values, visual acuity values, IPD values. All this happens at a click of a button and without you asking many questions. Okay. So this is your algorithmic type of setup for doing refraction. Now this looks very rosy on rosy picture. This gives you a very rosy picture, like clicking a button, you're getting all these values. Is this really reliable? So I found a study done by Eisenberg in the year 2021, and this is published in a very reputable journal, IOVS journal. And what this author has done is basically she has compared algorithm based refraction versus your regular trial frame refraction, and she has compared both these techniques, and she has given you these values over here. So what she found was that the difference in distance spherical equivalent values was only zero point 0.2 diopters, which was significant. Now if you, even if this is research if you see from a research angle, yes, the values are significant, but if you see it at a clinical angle, you'll see this zero point 0.2 is not making a very huge difference. Okay, zero point 0.2 is not, I mean, clinically if you see, it's not like very high, it's fairly accurate, I'll say. If you see the near addition values, you had a difference of 0.26 between the two techniques, slightly higher, I'll say, but not a deal breaker. The most advantage of this instrument was saving on time. Now, if you see a normal manual trial film refraction takes around roughly 4.36 minutes, but with the algorithmic setup, this drops to half, like 2.18 minutes. Okay, and these values are all of the first gen instruments. Now, recently I checked the website, the second gen instrument is also out, and the second gen instrument, I'm very sure no, these values must have dropped even further. I mean, they must have refined their values, their software must have got updated, and these differences must have come even more lesser. There's no study done on the second gen instrument, but I'm very sure in the coming months there'll be a study published. So this is your algorithmic refraction. Next technique is a tele-refraction. Now all of us know what is telemedicine. You know, the ophthalmologist sitting in the main hospital, and there's a rural setup. The junior ophthalmologist or the junior optom is there. That person uploads all the retinal reports onto the software management system. And the chief of the ophthalmologist sitting some other city, maybe Shankar Netralaya or any other hospital, he can just go through these reports and devise a treatment plan. Same way is with refraction, known as tele-refraction. And this is the setup: your phoropter, your autoref, your sorry, I'll come to this. Your phoropter, your keratometer, wavefront abrometer, non-mediatic fundus camera, and your management software. All this is basically connected via the internet. And the patient comes, he sits down on the chair. This is the way he looks at the optometrist, who might be sitting on some another floor, or maybe can be sitting in some other city also, because they are connected via the internet. And this is the visual acuity chart just below the LCD screen. This is the optometrist side of you. This is how she's going to interact with the patient. She's going to ask him what is your chief complaint, what problems he's going to face. Next, what happens? The junior optom, she takes all these values. You can just have autoref K also, but if you have the budget, you can extend it to a wavefront abrometer, non-mediatic fundus camera, management software. All this is going to get integrated via the internet. So all these values are going to get shared to the chief optometrist, and this is her screen. What is going to look like? And she can also have a look at the fundus photographs for any condition, and just by clicking all these buttons she can control the chart, and she can also control this phoropter over here, which is sitting on the patient's face. So she can say, is this option better, this option better? She can do just like how you do in a regular clinic. Just by clicking a button via the internet, she's going to able to do the refraction of this particular patient. Once the refraction is over, she can jump to the next refraction, next appointment. She can click on this patient, and the whole process can again be repeated. So this is your tele-refraction. So what benefit it gives us is, single optom can handle multiple stores. The junior optoms can guide customers in store, and they can also learn from the senior optoms that various techniques of doing refraction. Intercity operation via the internet is possible. Via intercity, I'll say interglobe is also possible. If you have, if you have multiple stores across the globe, even the interglobe operation is possible. And a better contactless experience. So these are the basic various possibilities the internet opens up to you uh, with these instruments. Now your refraction part is over. Let's move to frame selection. So this is an app I came across. It's known as the Ditto app, and it's only for iPad users. And this is the market leader right now in frame selection software. You can have a tie-up with these people, and you can upload this software onto your website also, or you can have it in your store in the iPad also. I'll just give you a brief idea of how this software works. and the software recommends what frames look best for you. You can also have a side-by-side frame comparison over here, and that's about this software. And I tried it, but I had few doubts about this software. Like, the images were not so accurate or repeatable. So the frame size, what was looking on my face, was not looking the same size on some another person's face. That was one problem. Another problem I found was it focuses mostly on front portion of the face. So side view you're not getting basically. It doesn't take into consideration temple length, which is a very important parameter while selecting a frame. So you're only seeing the front face. You don't know how long the temples are. Again, you need to create a large inventory of spectacle frame photos to be uploaded in the app. So you have to continuously upload your frame collection into the app. Sorry, I don't know why this is coming up. And lastly, uploading your frame store collection photos into this software is a very time consuming process, a tedious process, and also it's an expensive process. So these were the disadvantages I found with this software. So another uh, software that has come on is your virtual spectacle 3D try-on software. This is known as the VisualFit software over here. So basically what this does is creates your digital avatar. I'll show you a quick video. So your patient walks in. This is the process, how the instrument aligns for your face. Basically scanning your face, there are 9 cameras over here. So the 9 cameras are synchronized to create a virtual avatar. I'll show you what do I mean by a virtual avatar. It's a very high-res virtual avatar. Okay, so this is the process by which it is done. And this is what has been created. Obviously, this is a different patient, not the same customer who had earlier come. So these images are like really high res, okay? I mean, the screen recording is not very clear over here, but the images are really top notch. I mean, you can see the every hair detail also in the images. Is that the images are so sharp? Once the avatar is created, the system only tells you, basically what frames will look good for this face. The software only gives you suggestions. So this software has recommended these all frames. And one more benefit what I found over here was basically, uh, you know, they have tied up with Safilo and Luxottica. So now Luxottica and Safilo own mostly 90% of all the brands. And so any frame that has been launched by Luxottica Safilo gets automatically updated into this software. So suppose even if you don't have a particular, say suppose Gucci for example, you don't have a particular Gucci model, but if you scan the library over here, that particular Gucci model will be available, and you can click on that, and the patient will be able to see how this particular frame looks on his face. So you don't have to keep a very large inventory, uh, or not, nor you have to keep on uploading your own photographs into this. All that is done via the internet. So you can select this particular frame, how it looks on your face. You will get a side view for view also over here. I don't know why I'm not getting a side view. Okay, somewhere over here I'll get a side view. Yeah, how a side view, you can change the colors, sizes, all that option is possible via this software. Again, apart from the avatar creation, it also helps you in calculating your frame size, A size, B size. You can also measure interpupillary distance, your wrap angle, pentoscopic angle. All that basically can get calculated. Okay. Another thing, it also helps you in lens selection. So basically, if the patient wants to see how particular tint looks on his face, how does the transition lens looks on his face, all those options are available in this software. You can show him various color tints, so manually doesn't have to put any different types of tints on his face. You can buy this software. Again, these images are really high res. Apologies, I couldn't get a very sharper screen recording, but these images are like truly unbelievable. They're very high resolution images available in this software. So what are the benefits of this software? So you have a contactless fast shopping experience. It eliminates the need of a large spectacle inventory. Like I said, all those frame manufacturers are uploading all their frames into the software, so you don't have to keep a very large inventory. So you can just browse to the library and select whatever frame you like. Third most important point I found out was ability to see your own face clearly in high prescription customers. So many a times, you have a high myopia, high presbyopia, or high hyperopia, sorry, customer coming to you. They cannot see their own face. If they remove the spectacles, they cannot see their own face. So with this help of this software, they can basically see their own face, how it looks like, how various frames look like on their face. They can do this with this software. And they can see a side view of their face with this software. It becomes very easy to scan a large library of frames. Side by side frame comparison possible for easy decision making. The software gives you frame recommendations which are useful, and newer frame recommendations can be emailed to customers. So suppose, see, once you have this avatar, it is saved in the system. So tomorrow some new collection is added into the software. The software itself tells, oh, for this customer, these frames will look good. So you can take snapshots and email these photographs to your customer. So you can tell your customer, sir, the software has suggested this new frame will look good on your face. Why don't you have a look at the photographs at least? So he'll have a look at this photograph. If he likes them, he'll drop to your store. So it increases to, the footfalls also of your store, creates a very good impression. And selection of frames can be done in customer's absence also once the avatar is saved. So suppose a customer is sitting in US and he says, sir, my cousin is coming to US, but which frame will look good on my face? Now with the help of this avatar which is already saved in the system, you can suggest whatever frames will look good for him. You can shortlist like 10 photographs, you can send it to him, and the customer can select. He can have a look at these high res photos and he can select which frame looks best for him. So all are these added advantages of this 3D technology. Uh, Now your frame selection is over. Now moving on to your frame and facial measurements, and this is your Visio Office X by Essilor. So now this instrument is needed for accurate frame measurements. All are digital. Gone are those days of your pencil and a ruler and your PD meters. So with this instrument, you can have your near distance IPD, frame measurements, pantoscopic angle, wrap angle, reading distance, head and eye movements, dominant eye identifying. All these values are must if you're going to, you're going to prescribe a personalized progressive lens or even a single vision lens. You need all these instruments, all these values basically to give you high level of accuracy when you're going to dispense those personalized progressives. And that is going to add to the customer experience. Now, apart from those facial measurements, this software further helps you in frame selection. Software is also there. So he weighs every frames. You can take photographs of these frames, and side by side, you can compare which frame looks best on his face. Few more advantages. You can also, for a first time progressive wearer, you can show him how does it feel like to look through a progressive lens. All that demos can also be shown. This is the video actually. I've just put a screenshot over here, but with the help of a video, you can explain all this process to your customers. Now coming to lens selection. Now most of you must have seen this. Uh, Now this is just to give an idea to the customer what does this lens look like. Now this is, if he is interested in a high index lens, you can show him, sir, this is a standard 1.5 index lens, and if I give you a high index lens, how thin it is going to be. All that explanation can be done with this software, which is loaded onto the iPad also, and it's also there in the Visio Office also. So both, where you can, either way you can basically help him, give him what to expect out of the final lenses. You can also show him various tints, transition tint, how it will look like once it turns dark. You can also show him progressive, what to expect out of a progressive lens for first time viewers. All this can be displayed to him. All this information can be displayed to him with this virtual software. And the last part is contactless edging. Now all of us think, why this needs to be shown to the customer. He's got nothing to do regarding this. Information has no role to play during the when he comes to your store. But I think you should do it if you are tied up with if you have a fully automated digital computerized machine like this Mr. Blue over here by Essilor, which is fully automatic, and the computer does everything from the lens edging to the frame selection. So you can show it to your customer. You see, sir, this is totally hands-free operation. We are not going to touch your lenses. Everything is going to be robotic over here. Right from the frame tracing, sorry, from the axis marking process, right from the shape selection, centering, everything is going to happen digitally. Nothing, there's minimal hand movement over hand involvement over here. Shape selection, even the cutting process, everything is going to be, it's going to be hands free. No one, there's a minimal hand contact over here, and accuracy is going to be top notch. So if you're going to show such videos, to your customer, they'll appreciate that they are paying slightly a higher, uh, uh, the higher money they're going to pay to you, and it's going to get justified by you because you're going to show all this. So, involve them in this process also. You can have this been playing in some LCD in your store, or you can show them on the iPad. You have the top. Now, all these instruments are, they're expensive, no doubt about it, but you can always have a business plan with the MNCs, and you can, work your way around without owning any of these instruments. So few more tips for better contactless experience. You can have an appointment system for, to prevent overcrowding in your store. You can regularly update your website with frames and lens collection. Home delivery of spectacles. You can have a non-contact payment modes like a UPI tap. It's already happening in your stores. And you can also have an e-billing software for paperless bills. You can send the bill directly onto his mobile, so there's a lesser contact again over there of paper bills. Again, it's friendly for the environment also because you're using less paper. So you can, apart from all these instruments, you can also integrate all these uh, small things in your practice. Okay. Now all of us, there is a section of us will definitely argue, is all this whatever I've discussed, is it really necessary? Apna to kaam chal raha hai. I mean, we are having customers in our store, but when these instruments came in, people said the same thing. We are happy with the trial frame, but when the auto ref came, people said, "Oh, this is a rubbish instrument. This is not taking into consideration your accommodation also." But now look at all the stores. 95% stores have auto ref. Same thing was spoken about even your phoropters. When the phoropters came, people said, "Oh, this is just a gimmick. This is just an expensive gadget just to impress your customers." But now you see all the MNCs, they have this phoropters. Even the private practitioners have started investing into a phoropter. Same thing happened with the PD ruler. Then we found, oh, the PD meter is giving us better accuracy. And now if you are going to sell personalized progressive lenses, the I code is a must. Same thing has happened with your manual lens edger. Then came your patternless edgers, and now the fully automatic computerized, these automatic lens edgers. So all these technologies initially, which were thought to be a luxury, have found their way into our stores. The current refraction techniques I spoke about, even people are thinking, "Arey, what is all this necessary?" But I am very sure in the coming years, somewhere these technologies are going to get integrated into our day-to-day practices. So is this financially viable? The big question is that now. Is this contactless techniques financially viable? Very valid question. So yes, I agree. Initial investments are going to be high, no doubt about it. But where are you going to save on? You're going to save on lesser personnel will be needed. So you're definitely going to have better savings. Sorry. So definitely better savings. A single optometrist can handle multiple stores, so that's a big boost. Someday, sometimes the optometrist is not feeling well, so she's absent due to some commitment. An optometrist sitting in another store can handle the same store via the internet. I spoke about the tele-refraction technique. So they are going to have a lesser hassles of recruiting sales staff and optometrists. Now this has become such a big hassle. Like most of the opticians, they have money to open another store, but they fear, what if you don't get staff or good optometrists to run that store? So this is a big hassle, and if you're going to integrate machines into your day-to-day practice, this hassle is going to be a bit of lesser headache to you. And there's going to be better management of store space, especially in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, where space is a crunch. With all these techniques, you can have better management of store space. You're going to have lesser inventory of spectacle frames with the 3D avatars. Like I said, the companies are going to upload their photographs into the software, the VisualFit software we just spoke about. So, so no need for you to keep a very large inventory. All the brands will be basically uploaded into the software itself. You can just click them and you can show it on the avatar how the frames look like. So easier online experience in connecting with customers. Extended stores are also possible in some places. The optom needs to leave early due to some emergency. So the Optom sitting in another center, she can connect via the internet and she can handle the store for the remaining hours. So extended store hours possible. And to top it all, a wow experience is created for customers. So you're going to have better word of mouth publicity. They're going to say, oh, this store is innovative. They have the latest instruments. So hopefully it will lead to better footfalls. So that's it, everyone. Hope you all liked my presentation. And I like to thank Team OCI and SLR India for giving me an opportunity to speak here today, and also the audience for patiently listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pancham. That was a lovely talk by you. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to this talk, and I'm kind of totally convinced about the contactless dispensing aspect and getting to know about the advancements in the field of dispensing. It was really wonderful listening to you, and I really like the last slide. Is it really a viable option for us, wherein you weighed the pros and cons of each one of it, and I don't think you left any stone unturned pertaining to this topic. I really enjoyed, and I'm sure all our viewers also enjoyed equally the way I did. So before I take up questions from the audience, to get the discussion going, so the one thing that runs in my mind, and probably in the minds of all those who are listening to your talk as well, is the investment aspect. So all of us may be convinced with, yes, this is the way forward in the field of spectacle dispensing, but how much should be thinking about in terms of investment? How little can I start with when I'm progressing towards incorporating contactless dispensing in my practice? So maybe Mr. Kulbhushan from Essilor instrument section, if you could answer or take up this question. Kulbhushan or Anant Lakshmi, are you there? Pancham, are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. So the question what has been raised by you was related to the investment plans. So the good part is that the side is that we are coming up with more modular units, whereby, so in case you think about just to start with one particular, so let's say you can focus on one particular part, and you can integrate more number of machines into the system. And now the good part is that all the machines can be integrated one by one also. So let's say you don't have to do the entire renovation or the upgradation of the entire store in one go. So you can just think for the budget what you want to have, and the small integrations or small instruments can be added in, or the automations can be added into the system, so that the amount of financial part can be taken care. The second thing, which is also more important, is that now even because now the bundling of instruments can also be done with the businesses, as been told by Dr. Pancham also. So whereby in case one is looking forward to an instrument, or let's say a process which should be a part of the system, so the companies are there which can bundle the entire thing altogether along with the business. So the amount of financial investment per se would be very less or very minimal. So one can think of upgrading the entire clinic in one go, or possibly in smaller steps also. So both can be done.
Anita, as a private practitioner, can I just comment?
Sure. Please go ahead.
So basically, you can maybe look at, if you don't want to, go with, or if you feel that you're going to be tied down by one company or the other, and if you don't want that, I think every advancement you do needs to be in small steps. You can't, depending on the amount that you can spend, you can't say that altogether I will, purchase all this at one time. Okay, so it has to be in small steps. I think that's how, like many of us, including Pancham and others, all of us have, that's how we've grown. We didn't say that, okay, we'll invest in X plus Y plus Z, everything at the same time. So if you go, for example, if you look at pupilometer, that was something that we looked at when we were looking at, PAL dispensing and all that a few years ago. Then after that, you look at Foropter. Then after that, you look at something else. So I think it's like, if you keep a portion of the profit that you earn aside every month, saying that this is going to go back into the business in terms of investing in some equipment or the other, then I think it won't pinch in the long run. But then suddenly, if you say, no, I need to invest so much, then you might feel it's a huge sum. But every month, if you keep a portion of your profit aside, saying that this is something that I'm going to put back into the business, then I think it will work. This is just, yeah, my view. That's all.
Yeah, even thanks, Sakna. I think I would agree with what you said. Just to add a couple of points, in case you are not ready to make a very big investment, like how Lakshmi said, start with something which is very small. Today, you need to explore all the possibilities. Today, you have a lot of digital devices which are compatible to with your iPad, even to your own Android phones. So you can start looking at some of those small things, and then see how it is actually benefiting your business, your practice, and then start, because it's all about the mindset. I would say upgrading your practice is all about your mindset. That yes, I want to upgrade my practice, I want to bring all these things into my practice, and then like Lakshmi rightly said, as a practitioner, it is important for us to have a portion of our money which we generate through business for all these advancements, so that will help you in the long run.
Thanks, Anant and Lakshmi. Pancham, do you want to comment on this?
Yeah, after going through these techniques, I mean, I think it depends from practice to practice. Now, suppose if I have like 5 stores, I think that tele-refraction things makes a big, it's advantageous for me, because I've seen people with multiple stores. There is not even a single day of a month where the optoms are present on 30 days. So, then it becomes a hassle. You done from, in a city like Bombay is like quite large. Okay. So traveling from one part of the city to another part of the city is a hassle. So, people with multiple chain stores, that tele-refraction part will do really well. If you see single shop owners, they are always having this staff crunch. For them, that algorithmic refraction setup will work in a much better manner. So I think it's more and more shop dependent, and whatever these all technologies are there, whatever like suits the best for you, I think you should go ahead and invest in that.
Totally agree to this. Totally agree. And I really like those ones which creates your avatar, and wherein you can try different frames. Now, so many people would say that this all looks very fancy and nothing can replace the charm of touching and feeling a spectacle frame and then wearing it and then trying it. But for a person like me who is a hyperope, and to top it, I'm a presbyope too. So if I were to go in to purchase a pair of spectacle frame, what do I have to do? I have to try a frame, ask somebody to click a pic of me with the frame, then wear my glasses and check how I look with. Now, it's such a cumbersome and a very irritating process. At the most, I would try around 10 frames and then give up, because you're tired by the end of it. See, I'm speaking from the customer's point of view. But if I were to be exposed to such a thing wherein my avatar is created and I just have to click and choose the different frames, I think the wow experience that you explained, Pancham, would really work. So I think it's high time we wake up and adapt to the advancements in the field of dispensing and put it to our best advantage. So I really like that aspect. So if there are any questions from the live audience on the Facebook page, if Urmi, you could help me with that.
I've just put the question there, Anita. I think Kuldeep had a comment. And I think the comment was basically for Opters and stuff. If it's from one company, it only adapts to their own company equipment. I have a different experience, because we do have a different Foropter, and the chair unit is from a different company. So it's not necessary that X company Foropter has to go along with only their company equipments. Kulbhushan and Anant, if you just want to comment, that is first question. The second question, Anita, I think you've read, it is already on Zoom. Maybe you can take that later.
Yeah, agree, Lakshmi. I think each set of manufacturers will give what are the compatible models which are connecting for synchronizing with those instruments. I think you need to look into that first, and then go in for your purchase. Understand what are the equipments you already have, and if you are not ready to revamp the entire instruments, you need to first understand what are the instruments you have, and then look at adding instruments which are more compatible with your devices. I think that is how you will build in your entire practice. So Kulbhushan, I think he's the best expert in terms of instrumentation. Kulbhushan, if you want to add, please feel free.
Yes, ma'am. So whereby the good part is all manufacturer does know that what all instruments are compatible with what all products are available in market. So the good part about all branded products are the branded products, if we talk about in Proctors or even with other set of instruments in optometry, can be clubbed together and through a digital softwares or through the configurations which are available wirelessly and or wired. So both it can be done. So but you need to speak to your supplier or the manufacturer of the instrument that you have a current set of the instruments which are therein, and they can help you out with the integration part also. So it is a possibility. Yes, it can be done with the branded products.
Thanks, Kulbhushan.
So I just have a small thought here. I think when you're talking about digitalization or bringing about innovation into your practice, I think the key thing is actually with all these things across, it is adding to more convenience and comfort. Convenience for us, for the patients, for the customer, and also comfort for the customers. Now, when you're doing this, what is also happening is because there is a lot of ease of measurements and ease of process. Today, we can spend more time with our patients and customers. So earlier, what used to happen is maybe if you have 10 minutes time, we spend more time on our work. Today with these things, it is also going to help in our work. At the same time, we can spend more time with our customers and patients also, understanding their problems, and also give them valid recommendations. So it's basically about managing your time. I think that is where these innovations and devices would be very helpful, because going forward, we have to operate with a stipulated time. We can't get more time in our practice sometimes. So these things might be also helpful in those directions also.
Thanks, Anand. I mean, at the very beginning itself, we had one concern from one of the audience that with these advancements, will it dilute optometry?
No.
Will we be out of job? Is a concern raised by one. So
I think that was the same thing when autorefs came.
Correct. Correct.
Panchem, do you remember?
Yes.
Like, long back.
Yeah.
Then everybody said computerized testing. So standard is. I think with every advancement, that's what everybody says. And when laser came, they said no contact lenses, spectacles will go off. We won't have spectacle business. When laser came in. So I think with every advancement, there's always that fear that something else might take in. But as Panchem, I think Panchem, you gave it so well that in terms of, expanding private practice, I think these are great gadgets to actually assist you in expanding your own private practice to multiple practices. I think that's where one should take advantage. And I feel optometry would grow by this rather than not growing.
Absolutely agree with you, Lakshmi. Panchem, what's your take on this?
As in, I mean, will the optometry field have a challenge by the machines, is it? See, it's going to happen everywhere, and we have to be ready for it. Like, it is happening already in the cab industry. I think there are driverless cars in the US also. So the drivers are saying our jobs will be in danger. So same thing is going to happen in optometry. But I think that touch and feel, the expertise of a optom, guiding you through the whole process, that will always stay. You cannot ask a robot to suggest, I'm having a headache. So you don't want a robot to tell you what to do. You want finally a human or an optom to tell you what to do. So that, that experience that the machine can never rob us of, I mean. So that will always stay, I feel. They'll act as assisting instruments, but they will never put you off your jobs. That's for sure.
And it will also make you better each day, it will make you push you hard, that you have to move forward. It will give you that enthusiasm to move forward each day.
Right.
I think those were good points that were covered. I hope you're convinced, Vivek, and not threatened. So any more questions that we have from the audience?
Anita, can we have, if possible, everybody's video on so that maybe we can take a screenshot in the end, if possible. If you're in a place that you can keep your videos on, then that'll be really nice to have a look at everybody who's attending, and then maybe take a screenshot. Nice to see you, Hitesh sir. No comments from you? Everybody else? That's it? Okay, then you're taking the screenshot. Anita, you're doing it?
I'm doing it.
Okay.
Okay. Can I ask everyone to smile, please?
Thank you
so much.
Thanks, Pancham. That was, I think it's very difficult to, gather information and put it together so precisely. I think wonderful job done, Pancham. Very, very happy to see this. And Kulbhushan and Anand, thanks for both your thoughts. I know you guys keep traveling a lot, so thanks for your time, Kulbhushan as well.
Sorry for the disturbance in case there was some disturbance in the background. Sorry.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I hope you are enjoying the sessions that we are running. For those of you who have joined us the first time, let me brief you that these lectures are conducted once in 2 months. So we've had 3 lectures, including this one so far. So the next announcement of the lecture will be made on our social media platforms. So you please do check out on the Optometry Council of India Facebook page. We are also on Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as Twitter. So we keep updating you on the lectures and webinars that are coming up in the future. So please stay tuned for the upcoming sessions also. We are very happy to have you all. And before you exit this meeting, if you can drop in a comment or give us a feedback on how you like this session and what are you looking forward in the next coming sessions, it would be great to hear from you. So thank you so much, everyone.
I also wanted to tell them that we'll be starting a 6 lecture series on myopia very soon. This will help everybody who's interested in myopia management and myopia control. So it's going to be a basic lecture series. It'll be starting in September, the second half of September. So if you're interested, please do write to us at the Optometry Council of India. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
We will be sharing information and flyers. So please look out for the OCI social media announcements, please.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good day. Good day, everyone.